Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. We're glad you're here. We're going to try and get you through this Monday morning. Got an interesting one. I'm Steve.
And I'm Scott.
And
just go with it, Cameron. Just go with it.
I told Cameron, quiet on the set.
All right, so here we go. Yeah, it's a Monday morning. We're talking about this story. This is really weird.
And yeah, it's not getting much traction. I mean, there's a couple articles, but when you piece it all together, you're like, what is going on here?
Yeah, and this is a little off tone for what we normally talk about.
Well, it's science. These are scientists, you know?
Yeah. But this is like a PI mystery novel type thing. So it's bizarre. If you haven't heard about this, you need to tune in to not only us, but there's a lot of other people talking about it. So
buckle in, man. All right. So Amy Eskridge, a researcher based in Huntsville, Alabama, died in 2022 at the age of 34, has been identified as the 11th scientist connected to a troubling pattern of scientists disappearing, and which some of it includes UFO phenomena. Eskridge co-founded the Institute for Exotic Science and described her work as focused on experimental propulsion concepts, including what she referred to as anti-gravity research. Okay, so that's kind of alien, like UFO type stuff. I mean,
yeah, but it's not really out there. I mean,
it's not out there.
There's a lot of people. I mean, think about all the people that write horror movies and scripts for horror movies and write books for horror topics, or Freddy Krueger or all that stuff. I mean, those people are out there as far as I'm concerned. But these guys were just trying to study something that interests them. So anyway, so these cases involve scientists and officials with access to advanced research fields and U.S. classified secrets who have either gone missing or died under suspicious or unexplained circumstances. And that's an understatement.
The number of such deaths and disappearances is considered too coincidental by some members of Congress, suggesting a potentially significant underlying issue.
The White House has acknowledged the situation and is reportedly investigating these incidents involving U.S. scientists and government employees with high-level classified clearance.
Yeah, some top secret. The pattern has raised concerns and speculation about the safety and security of individuals involved in sensitive government research, including areas related to UFOs and other advanced technologies.
Yeah, and again, we're going to get into it right now, but what really caught my eye on this is that several of these people worked for the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, and that's where, I mean, my dad didn't work at the lab facility in Pasadena, but he worked for a remote location for that. But he worked for this company. It's crazy. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about, and these are other individuals who have disappeared or died under various circumstances, including first one, Monica Jacinto Reza. She disappeared in June of 2025. Reza also worked for NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory as an aerospace engineer. Okay, that's not something crazy. Reportedly overseeing the lab's material processing group, which focuses on developing new materials and advanced manufacturing technologies for spacecraft, specializing in bulk, metallic, glass, alloys, and metal additive manufacturing. And that's according to NASA. So
that's big. I think that's big. Special materials.
Okay, but still, it's not, you're not talking about cracking some secret code or anything like that. I mean, this is.
Well, yeah, I know, but if you just take her disappearance as isolated, yeah, it's not okay. But 11 of them that do things like this.
Yeah, and some of these you're going to see their bios and you're going to be really suspect on it. At least I was.
Okay, retired Air Force Major General William McCasland. He vanished from his home in February 2025. He was the former commander of the Air Force Research Lab and reportedly possessed top-secret information on UFOs. He had ties to the Los Alamitos National Laboratory. The lab famously developed nuclear weapons during World War II era Manhattan Project. Right. It is a Department of Energy National Security Administration. Department of Energy National Nuclear Security Administration, NNSA, facility, and prides itself on breakthroughs in the nuclear technology space. Two other, or rather than space, not outer space, but nuclear technology genre, I don't know. Two other former employees of the lab have also gone missing, including.
Now this is crazy stuff. Now we're getting into some, because these guys were, yeah, they were special clearance, top secret probably, and vanished. That's just bizarre to me. Stephen Garcia. Garcia went missing August of 2025 in Albuquerque after leaving his home on foot, carrying only a handgun. He worked at the Kansas City National Security Campus, which develops most of the non-nuclear components that go into building nuclear weapons. He had a top secret security clearance.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
So this is components for non-nuclear weapons. All right, Melissa Casillas disappeared in June 2025. Casillas worked as an administrative assistant at Los Alamos National Lab in New Mexico, which reportedly developed nuclear weapons for Manhattan Project. On the day she disappeared, she dropped off lunch for her daughter and was never seen again.
Crazy. Anthony Chavez. He was last seen leaving his house in Los Alamos on foot on May 8th of 2025. With his car locked in his driveway. He did not bring his phone, wallet, or keys on his walk. Reported missing May 2025.
Now, I didn't find much information on where he worked. I'd have to do a little bit more digging, but he's a scientist. Okay, Carl Grillmayer, killed in February 2026. Grillmayer was a renowned research scientist at Caltech's Infrared Processing and Analysis Center, which partners with NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, providing science operations, user support, archives and data services, and scientific vision to maximize discovery with observatories both in space and on the ground. So maybe with Webb telescope and Hubble, maybe? The Daily Mail reported that he was personally involved in space telescope projects with NASA. He was shot and killed outside his home. A man named Freddie Snyder, 29, was charged with his murder.
Okay, but again, do we know anything more about that? I mean, did Freddie have a beef with this guy, or it's
taken
just
by itself? It could be, he had a beef and just shot him. But 11 of these, it's not a coinkydinks. I don't believe in coinkydinks.
Yeah. Okay, Michael David Hicks. Hicks died July 2024 and was a scientist working at NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory from 1998 to 2022. According to the Daily Mail. He worked on the space program's Double Asteroid Redirection Test, or DART. And I think we've talked about DART
We've
before.
talked about it, yeah.
Yeah. That was the DART project.
Remember, I think it was those two comets where the DART test hit the one comet and it changed the trajectory of the two that were, they were twins, remember?
Yeah.
The comets.
But again, I mean, what are we talking about here? We're talking about guys that are looking in telescopes or illustrations of stuff. It's just bizarre. And this is focused on understanding the physical properties of asteroids and comets and whether they can be redirected in outer space.
Okay, Frank Maywald. Maywald also worked in the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. He designed a critical instrument for a project called Surface Biology and Geology. Visible to shortwave infrared, VSWIR, and a future NASA mission to launch a satellite into space and map the living color of the Earth in far greater detail than can be observed by the human eye, according to his obituary. Just over a year before he died in July 2024, he was working on a program to help astronauts on space missions identify signs of life on other planets, including Jupiter's moon Europa, Saturn's moon Enceladus, or the dwarf planet Ceres, the Daily Mail reported.
And we've talked about all those planets.
Moons and planets, yep.
Yeah. Okay, Nuno Loureiro, killed in just a few months ago, killed in December 2025. He was a Portuguese plasma physicist and a professor of physics at the MIT and director of the MIT Plasma Science and Fusion Center from 2024. Luero was shot at his residence in Brookline, Massachusetts, and died from his injuries the following day. Authorities connected his murder to Claudio Manuel Neves Valente, who was the perpetrator of the shooting at Brown University that occurred 2 days prior to Luero's murder.
Yeah, so you remember this story? I remember this story clearly. That it first reported the people killed at Brown, and then they connected this guy, this professor, to the same perpetrator. Why?
Huh.
Why did he kill this professor? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't remember that one. But I mean, if I look back on it, I'm sure it was probably all over the news. That's pretty recent.
Yeah. Jason Thomas. Thomas, a scientist with Novartis, disappeared on the night of December 12th, 2025, and has not been seen since. A body removed from Massachusetts Lake on March 17th is believed to belong to 45-year-old Jason Thomas. Thomas's wife said her husband had been struggling with the recent death of his parents when he vanished from their home, and so he just went out to the lake and said, "I'm gonna, gulp in and die."
Yeah, drowned yourself. That's pretty bizarre. Yeah. Okay, as of February 26th, the Trump administration has directed the Pentagon and other federal agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, and identified flying objects, UFOs.
So the directive for the release, President Trump directed Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to lead the effort in reviewing and declassifying interesting documents concerning UFOs.
Yeah, and again, like him or hate him, you got to admit that this guy has been pretty transparent when it comes to this kind of stuff. He's not holding anything back. Just if he thinks that it's of public interest, he's letting it go. All right, AARO involvement. While the administration is pushing for disclosure, the primary investigative entity remains the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, within the Pentagon. It was established in 2022 and continues to operate as the central clearinghouse for UAP reports.
Yeah, this is a big deal when it came out because they decided that, hey, we need to check this out and resolve all these anomalies.
Yeah,
I remember that. Okay, initial findings. AARO has reported reviewing over 1,800 cases, most of which were resolved as balloons, drones, or debris, though several dozen cases remain anomalous.
Whistleblower perspective. Some advocates and whistleblowers have praised the new administration's push for transparency, while others express caution regarding whether all information will be revealed. Yeah, there's always people that are naysayers.
There was a drone task force in June 2025. It was reported that a task force was established to address rogue drones. You might remember this out like Langley. Like these unknown drones were coming up, and also to naval bases and just coming up and looking. A move praised by some as a step toward addressing UAP security concerns.
Yeah. This we're gonna visit this, I'm sure, more than one more time, because this is just crazy stuff. Hopefully they'll be able to get some kind of closure on some of these cases. But to just vanish nowadays that is bizarre. Just vanish from your house. I don't know.
Yeah, I think one of them was hiking on a trail and something happened. Well, could be nefarious. Who knows?
Yeah.
But this is
very coincidental.
Yeah, this is like you scratch your head. Kudos to whoever broke this. That the 11 scientists, they're scientists. With high level security clearances.
Yeah. Yep. Interesting story. All right.
If you know something about this, let us know. Help break it to the community.
Yeah, if you're familiar with that, if you live in any of these areas that are familiar with some of these people gone missing or dying or whatever, let us know what your local news is talking about. So, okay.
All right, folks. We'll see you in the afternoon.
See you this afternoon. Take care. Thanks.